Hi YouTube! Oof. Before I actually get into this video, I just want to make a little announcement that I'm very excited about. I know that I mentioned in my live streams, if you guys watch them, I usually try to live stream every weekend, that I would be going to one Supernatural convention date on September 30th. Well, boy, do times change! Guess who's going to the Supernatural convention all 3 days? This bitch! Yeah, I'm mentally unstable. If you didn't know that, I am going to be going to the Supernatural convention in Secaucus, New Jersey on Friday, September 28th, Saturday, September 29th, and Sunday, September 30th. Booyah. I will try to record some of this, but again, if you see me there, feel free to say hi. I'll take a picture with you, whatever you want to do. And yeah, just don't be a dick. So, you guys probably saw the title of this video and you were like, what the fuck? If you're new here, you're probably being like, why is this girl making a video saying what's wrong with Supernatural and she's going to a Supernatural convention? If you don't know me, listen, I have my script right here just in case, because I forget things really easily. I'm probably one of the biggest Supernatural fans you will ever meet, and I don't mean that lightly. I have shed blood, sweat, tears, vomit, everything over the show, and people always ask me what I don't like about Supernatural, and for me, that's a hard question. Considering that it's my favorite show and it's basically all I really care about anymore. Supernatural means a lot to me, but in my personal opinion, there are a few things in the show that I either don't agree with or don't personally love. Disclaimer and spoiler warning, obviously there spoiler warning up to season 13 for this video. I'm probably going to be mentioning some of those things, so just beware. And disclaimer, I love Supernatural. Supernatural is my favorite TV show. I mean, I'm dropping a shit ton of money to be able to meet these actors in person and all that stuff and see them and just all that's, you know, all that good shit. So when I make this video, it's from a criticism standpoint and saying like, oh yeah, like I would change this or I would do that. Because as a fan, as a super fan, I think people, you know, of course we don't have to love everything about the show. I mean, I love most about the show. I love almost everything about the show. I would never stop watching it even if, you know, anything happened. So yeah, these are just things that I would change or something like that, but they're really not big things and that really matter to me. So yeah, going all the way back to season 1, I think that season 1 could have moved a bit faster. Now I understand that this was the first season, and I've met a lot of people that did not continue watching Supernatural past season 1 because it moved so slow. And I understand that obviously the first season of any show is going to move slow because you have to have that character development and build your story. And that's why it's not that big of a deal to me. But when I've seen so many people that are like, stop watching after season 1, and then I'm like, no, well, like, listen, everything starts moving a bit more faster and gets really good in season 2 and 3. And then they get addicted, or they just don't watch it, and it's like, what the fuck, bro? I can't really complain about the earlier seasons. I mean, it was 2005, and the show is just starting to pick up and all that other stuff. So, I mean, the show survived the writer's strike. It survived many things. It survived killing off their main characters over and over again. So, I mean, you can't really complain. Now that I mentioned killing all the main characters, character deaths. You guys probably saw this coming. Of course, any show that is on the air for a really long time, as long as Supernatural has been, will have their fair share of character deaths. And Supernatural does tend to take it a little bit overboard. I feel like a lot of fans tend to get bored of Sam and Dean dying every other season because it makes their death feel like it's not that meaningful or heartfelt or anything like that in that kind of sense, you know? I can agree to that, like, seeing them die over and over again, and it kind of does take it away, but I also disagree. I still cry when I see one of them die, even though we know that they will come back. Think of it from Sam or Dean's perspective. Take season 13, episode 21, for example. This is probably the most recent example that I could give, even though there are probably better examples. It's just the most recent because, you know, people probably have already seen it and it's fresh in their minds. We know that when a Winchester dies in any situation that they're probably definitely going to come back. But in Dean's eyes, he's thinking the worst in this situation because, like, take it, your brother dies right in front of you, you couldn't stop it, and oh shit, we're in an apocalypse world and there's no way I'm getting him back. The point I'm trying to make is every time one of the brothers dies, they probably have this thing in their mind. It's like, oh shit, this is the last time. They're never gonna come back. This is it. You know? And of course I'm gonna cry for that. For one, the fact that one of my favorite characters just died in front of me, and two, the fact that the other one is still grieving over that and thinking that they're not gonna come back, even though we as the viewers know that they probably most definitely will come back. When Sam was killed by the vampires, you could tell that Jensen's acting in that episode was amazing, and don't even get me started on Jared's acting. Oh, when he was like talking to Lucifer, that shit was fucking amazing. But the point is, there's always a fear with the brothers that this is it, he's not coming back, and because Dean didn't know that Lucifer was coming back, and Dean was gonna go back and get Sam's corpse, and this counts for every time the brothers have died. They'll always think that when either of them dies, the one that's left behind will always think that this is it, like no more Sam, no more Dean, and that's the point. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Like, it's sad, even though watching them die over and over again can take away from us. If you think about them as characters, like, they just saw the person that they're closest to just die right in front of them. Do you really expect them to be like, oh, they're totally gonna come back, why would I even care, you know? Kinda in the middle about that one. The next one, as I mentioned in my other video that I posted, which was what we know about season 14 so far, I'm very displeased with the fact that we don't get to see a lot about how Sam feels about Lucifer. Of course, we know that he was tortured in hell for millions of years and all of that stuff. And by the way, when I say millions of years, I mean millions of years cage time. In cage time, it's a lot different. It's a lot longer. I feel like this isn't mentioned a lot, and I don't think it's mentioned enough. We don't get to see how this affects Sam, and we don't get to see how being around Lucifer is for Sam. As I said in my other video, I do want them to go into a little bit more depth about the whole thing with Sam and Lucifer, because I feel like it was severely neglected, and it's just such a big part of Sam's character. I feel like we should be able to see more of that, and I do think we'll see a little bit of it in season 14. Next is the trials. Now this is a personal thing. You all should know by now that season 8 is my forever favorite season of Supernatural. The Great Escapist is my favorite episode, season 8, episode 21, and I can recite this whole episode from start to finish. And I also loved the season finale for that season. But there's one personal thing that I always wanted to happen during season 8, and that is Sam finishing the trials. Bear with me. Think about it. Sam had left Dean in purgatory. Sam had let Lucifer out of the cage. Sam had let Dean down multiple times. He drank demon blood and all that shit, but this was his chance to change that. This was a chance to be able to lock up all the evil dicks who ended up fucking up his life, and this was a chance for him to be able to save the world in his own way. Of course, he did sacrifice himself back in season 5 when he jumped into the pit, but this would have been a little bit more like, yes, you're locking up the big bad, but this is you're locking up a whole species of bad. Dean was so dependent on Sam that he stopped him from basically making the world a better place, and that's what bothered me. Sam willing to die to lock up all of the demons in hell, and that could have saved them multiple times from all the shit they've endured past season 8. But Dean was so set on saving his brother that he didn't let that happen. Yet Dean ended up fucking over Sam by letting Gadriel in, so he basically made a mess times 2. Don't get me wrong, I love this episode, I love this season, and I love this plot, but that's one thing that I've always just wanted to change about Supernatural would be Sam finishing the trials, and he didn't get to do that. And I understand that if he did finish the trials, the arcs for the next seasons would probably be a little bit different. They would actually be very different. We wouldn't have Gabriel back, we wouldn't have the continuation plot with Lucifer, we wouldn't have a lot of other things that would have happened, and we wouldn't have had Mary back. We wouldn't have had all these other things happen in Supernatural. And I understand why Sam didn't finish the trials, but like, just if you had just watched season 8 and you didn't really care about anything else after, which I do, you would have wanted Sam to complete the trials. Like, come on. Like, I would have loved for him to do that. And again, I know the whole plot would be a lot different, but, you know, I get it. The next thing that I'm going to bring up is that Sam has had The next thing I want to bring up is that Sam has not had his own arc in fucking forever. This correlates to season 8. But the last arc that was truly just about Sam was the trials and the whole thing with Gadriel. After that, it was either just Dean's arc with the Mark of Cain or wherever Sam and Dean were fighting, but I do think that this will change in season 14, considering the events of season 13 with Dean getting possessed by Michael and all the apocalypse people in the bunker and all of this other stuff. We're going to kind of see Sam as a leader. Dean being out of the picture for a little bit is kind of good for Sam's plot development because it makes Sam have the opportunity to step up as a leader for everybody in the bunker and save his brother. You know, because after season 8, it was more like Dean with the Mark of Cain, Dean without the Mark of Cain, Dean turning into a demon, Dean and Amara, all that other stuff, and I just feel like Sam deserves to have his own kind of arc at this point. And, you know, Supernatural in the past few seasons has kind of more turned into what they're fighting than what's going on between Sam and Dean. And that's one thing that I don't personally love, but I love Supernatural regardless. Next is the killing of every female character, or maybe the killing of every character in general. Thankfully, the writers of Supernatural have finally decided to have some female characters in Supernatural that don't die after 2 episodes. But this was a pretty big problem back in the earlier seasons, if you don't remember. Now we have Jodie, Donna, Alex, Claire, and Rowena, plus we do have all the other people from the Apocalypse world that will be making an appearance in season 14. So hopefully we'll be able to see more of a diverse cast in this way. My opinion on that is more, I don't like seeing people die all the time. And, you know, as Supernatural being my favorite TV show, a lot of characters die, and a lot of characters that don't deserve to die end up dying. You know, Ellen, Joe, Ash, Charlie, Kevin, Castiel, Sam, Dean, Crowley. I could go on and on, but there's a lot of characters that don't deserve to die, and they die anyway. Because, you know, Supernatural likes to just fucking bend us over and fuck us, you know? Lastly, the most annoying thing about Supernatural is the wait between episodes. Here's the thing, I am totally okay waiting a week for the next episode. I understand production and all that stuff has to be taken care of, but when they decide to have a very dramatic, intense subplot going on, or a very intense plot going on, and something drastic happens, I don't want to wait 3 weeks for the next episode and then have it be a filler. They did this in season 13 with the whole plot with Gabriel and Asmodeus. Sorry, his name is actually Asmo Dicksucker, and him being tortured and all that stuff, and having to wait and see what happened to Gabriel. Like, that's one thing I will never forgive. Literally, you bring back a fan favorite after how long? You make us wait 3 weeks and then you give us a filler episode? How dare you! Anyway. That's kind of all I could think of for things wrong with Supernatural. Obviously, this is kind of a more subjective kind of video. You know, some people may disagree and agree with these stuff. These are pretty basics, you know. Being a big fan of Supernatural, obviously my opinions are going to be biased. I'm definitely going to be more on the side towards there's nothing wrong with Supernatural, what are you talking about? Because in my mind, obviously there are things that I would change, but I am very pleased with what they've done and what they've made Supernatural into and all this other stuff. And Supernatural means a lot to me, and even if things don't go the way that I want to, it's still something that I care about a lot and that I will still watch, and that I, you know, all that stuff. Also, I did make a Snapchat for my YouTube channel. I did have a personal Snapchat, but I didn't really want to give that out to everybody on the internet. So I made a Snapchat just for you guys to add me on, and I will post updates of like maybe when I post, or definitely when I do go to the Supernatural convention. I do tend to Snapchat more than I do take videos because I'm not a big vlogger. I'm very bad at vlogging in public, and I've never been good at holding a camera in front of my face and talking to it. So that's that. So yeah, if you do want to keep updated on the whole Supernatural convention thing, I might make a video about it, I don't know. I will definitely make a video after explaining what happened and my experience there and everything like that. But Supernatural is my favorite TV show. Again, I'm probably one of the biggest fans of Supernatural you will meet. I know there's probably some bigger fans, like, but I've never met anybody who can recite their favorite episode all the way through. And that's just me. So let me know if you can do that. Yeah. I do have a lot of plans for the Supernatural convention, so I'm going to be there all 3 days. So again, I'm going to say September 28th, September 29th, and September 30th. I'm going to be in Secaucus, New Jersey at the Meadowlands Expo Center, and I'm going to be crying the entire time. Again, if you see me there, feel totally free to come up to me, talk to me, all that other stuff. I'm very happy to meet you guys. Just beware, I might be crying. Pretty big chance that I will be crying. Just thinking about Supernatural makes me cry, so yeah. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a good day. Remember, you can check out my links down in the description if you want to follow me more on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and if you want to join my 2 Discord servers, you can feel free to do that too, and all that other stuff. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a nice day, and don't get possessed by any demons. Bye.